Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Morning Glory video, and today guys I've got a really exciting announcement. I am going to be running a huge Warhammer 40k Apocalypse style event and I want you guys to get involved. So what the heck am I talking about? Well, I've always had this idea of running a huge Warhammer 40k Apocalypse event. And now I use that word event very specifically. I'm not talking about a tournament where individual players battle through a series of rounds and at the end of the day, one person's crowned champion. I'm talking about a huge Apocalypse team event where two teams of players made up of dozens of individuals battle it out across a full weekend in one huge battlefield. I'm talking about having two teams big enough that there would literally be a chain of command and there would be local battlefield commanders reporting into some kind of high command that would be dictating the overall flow of the battlefield and trying to enact their team's mission objectives. Now, speaking of that, there would certainly be an overall plan, an overall objective that each team would have to try and fulfill. Maybe one team is trying to hold the line against the Imperial invaders. Maybe it's a classic Imperial Guard last stand scenario. But each team would have an overall mission and then there would be evolving objectives. There would be mission packets that would be handed out to each team and each set of high commanders and all that kind of cool stuff to really try and recreate not just a big game of 40k, but maybe even try and make some sort of semi-realistic battlefield command scenario. Some sort of Warhammer 40k milsim, if I dare say it. So that's the overall idea for the event, but let me give you some real world details now. The event is going to take place between the 12th and 13th of August 2023. It's going to take place in Element Games in Stockport in the UK. Now there's going to be 90 places available at the event, which means there's going to be 45 players on each team. Each player will be allowed to bring 5,000 points of Warhammer 40k with them for the event. Now don't worry if you don't have 5,000 points, or maybe you're traveling from another country and you don't think you'll be able to bring 5,000 points with you. There is going to be a system within the game where you can recycle your army and come back in as reinforcements. Also worth mentioning that don't worry if you get wiped out early in the event. You know, there's a lot of firepower that's going to be flung around. If you get wiped out, don't worry. Like I said, there's going to be ways for you to come back in as like a reinforcement column, and this should allow the fun to keep on flowing across the whole weekend. Now, each ticket is going to be £45 per player, and that needs to be sent via PayPal to mordianglorytv@gmail.com. Now, don't worry, that email is going to be down in the description below. So if you're like me, you've got a bit of an Ogan brain, you don't need to remember it. You can find it down in the description of this video. Now, tickets will be non-refundable. So if you buy a ticket and then later on can't make it for whatever reason, unfortunately, I will not be able to give you your money back. But you can sell your ticket on to somebody else. You just have to let me know. Now, if the event doesn't go ahead for whatever reason, let's say that we just don't get enough players to make a proper game of it, don't worry, in that circumstance, of course, I will give you your money back. It's not fair for me to charge you for something, and if it doesn't go ahead, you know, keep the money. That's just not right. So don't worry, in that circumstance, if the event doesn't go ahead for whatever reason, I will make sure to get you your money back. Now, one last thing to mention is that the intention of this event is for it to be a huge Imperial Guard versus Imperial Guard event. And that way we can create a huge battle like the Siege of Rax that involves regular humans battling it out. However, I am totally against excluding anybody from an event. I want as many people as possible to have fun and get involved. So if you don't have a guard army and you'd still like to get involved, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that when you're sending the money to me for your ticket, that in the little note you say, buying, you know, my All Guardsman Party event ticket, and then also say, I don't have a Guardsman army. That's absolutely fine. That will just allow me to try and put you on an appropriate team. Maybe you're an Orc player, I can put you on the Imperial team as some Blood Axe Mercenaries. Maybe you've got Chaos Space Marines, I could put you on the obvious traitor team. However, if you are a player who has multiple armies in your collection and one of those armies does happen to be Guard, all I would do is ask you to make sure you do bring that army. Like I said, I won't stop you from bringing another army, but it is meant to be an all Guardsman event. But that's it. Now I know there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot more details that I need to share with you guys, but don't worry, all of that stuff's going to come out over the next few months. I'm really going to be building up the story behind this battle, really getting into the lore for the event, and also of course I will be building the mission packets for each team and the rolling objectives. So all that stuff is going to come out, and hopefully over the next few months we'd all get really hyped for the event. But thank you for watching. Of course, if you've got any questions, make sure you put them down in the comment section below. And of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.